get started. Are we good technically?
C'est bon.
C'est bon. Okay. Good evening. My name is Tim Klitz. I'm the Secretary of the ISD Board of Trustees, and on behalf of the trustees, welcome to the 2025 Annual General Meeting, or AGM. For those of you in attendance, as well as those of you joining us via our live stream, this meeting is meant to present the ISD Association with the work the board has done this year, the financial status of the school, and to provide other updates to the association, including the election of new trustees for the upcoming school year. Before we begin our presentation, housekeeping items to mention. We will be asking those in attendance to approve the meeting minutes from last year's meeting. A link to those minutes was presented in the agenda shared with the community, as well as outside in the entrance of the theater. There will be a question and answer section after the financial presentation, so please hold your questions until that part. And then after this meeting, we do invite those of you joining us to join us outside for some refreshments. Now, let's begin by welcoming the chairperson of the Board of Trustees, Aline Cara.
Can you all hear me? Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here tonight as well as at home. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, it's a pleasure to welcome you to the Board's annual general meeting. I'll start off with a presentation on the Board's work over the past year and then turn it over to the others. Who is the Board? The ISD Board is made up of 9 volunteers. At least 5 are elected by the community, and up to 4 can be appointed by the Board. Trustees serve renewable 2-year terms, and in keeping with our status as an American-sponsored school, the majority must be U.S. citizens. We have non-voting ex officio and faculty members who contribute valuable insights and perspective. These include a representative of the These include a representative of the U.S. Ambassador, our director, assistant director, principals, faculty representative, and as well as our most valuable player, our board assistant. Together, this group works collaboratively to ensure strong governance and support for the school's mission. And here's the team behind the work. This year's Board of Trustees and board members. Top row are the trustees, and bottom left are the representatives, and to its left are the faculty members. Each of the trustees have volunteered their time, and all of the members have provided their expertise and care in service of ISD. I also would like to take this opportunity to share that our 2 officers, Tim Klitz and Julie Simut, have been appointed to serve another 2-year term to ensure a strong and balanced board next year. Tim and Julie have both quietly and consistently stepped in to fill the gaps and steady the ship throughout the year. And apart from them, we have a returning elected trustee, Latoya Suko, and all other trustees, including myself, will not be on the board next year. Board's main responsibilities, we have many, but these are the main ones. As a board, our primary responsibility is governance. This slide highlights the 4 key areas where we focus our work to ensure the school's long-term success and sustainability. First, we are the guardians of the mission. This means we define, protect, and adapt ISD's mission, vision, and values as the school evolves. We also approve and monitor the strategic plan that guides ISD's future direction. Second, we only have 1 employee, the school director, for whom we are responsible for hiring, evaluating, supporting, and when necessary, replacing. Third, we develop and revise the policies that govern the school. Just as importantly, we respect and maintain the boundary between governance and day-to-day operations. You will hear me say this a few times, which is the domain of the director and the leadership team. And finally, we provide financial oversight. We approve the annual budget, I'm glad you agree, and ensure that appropriate controls are in place to safeguard the school's resources. In all these areas, our goal is to support strong leadership, sound governance, and a thriving school community. So this slide is a simple visual reminder of the difference between governance and management. We look at a bird's eye view, while the director gets into the weeds. The board sets direction, the director runs the school. The board focuses on the big picture and provides oversight. The director focuses on the day-to-day operations and implements the board's vision. The board decides what and why, and the director decides how and who. So in short, board governs but does not manage, director manages but does not govern. And most importantly, the relationship between the board and the director is one of the most critical in any school. When built on trust, clarity, and mutual respect, that partnership creates the conditions for strong leadership and a thriving school community. Every year at the start of the school year, the board comes together for a retreat. It's a dedicated training session with an expert facilitator to reflect and set our priorities for the year ahead. It's a time for deeper strategic thinking, team building, and alignment around the school's mission and the board's responsibilities. At our retreat this year, we set 3 core goals, and these goals have shaped our agenda all year and reflect the kind of board we strive to be: strategic, transparent, and inclusive. Then we had an unplanned goal, but it became a defining moment for the board's work this year. Midway through the school year, we had to navigate director transition, and these situations are never easy. But we are proud of how the board responded, quickly, calmly, and in line with best practices in governance. We prioritized continuity of learning and school stability above all. We appointed Dr. Nika Johnson as interim director, bringing experience, leadership, and a steady hand to guide the school through this period. We also launched a formal search for the permanent director, forming an ad hoc director search committee and partnering with ISS, a leading international search firm, to help us identify the strongest possible candidates. And as vacancies arose on the board, we brought in and trained new trustees to ensure that the board remains strong and functional throughout the year. Goal number 1. This year, we prioritized the creation of a new strategic plan. ISD had no active plan in place for some time, which is a clear gap we needed to address. Given the mid-year leadership transition, we shifted from developing a long-term plan to a short-term one, led by our interim director. The process has been inclusive, with input from faculty, staff, parents, students, and board members. Goal number 2, this goal came directly from what we heard loud and clear from the community at the end of last year. The need for more transparency, more frequent updates, and more opportunities for a two-way dialogue. We responded in several ways. We increased the frequency of board updates and made them more transparent. We held a town hall meeting and launched mid-year listening sessions and surveys. We conducted a SWOT analysis with community input to better understand ISD's strengths and challenges. And we made a conscious effort to show up, whether to PTO meetings, school events, or informal settings, to listen and connect. You probably saw one face in particular more than the others. Thank you, Tim. Our focus has been on building trust and keeping lines of communications open, and the board will continue this into the next year. Our third goal At the start of the year, we reaffirmed our commitment to embedding DEI principles into all aspects of our governance and school culture. We amended the bylaws to allow a co-chair model, promoting shared leadership and broader representation. We responded to community concerns around inclusion by engaging expert facilitators and providing mentorship support to school leadership during a time of healing and cultural restoration. We initiated a full policy review through an external consultant to ensure our governance framework reflects best practices, and we also created open forums for dialogue to all community members. Mission, vision, and values are the guiding compass of any international school, shaping identity, direction, and community culture. These statements define who we are and what we stand for as a school, and they've shaped our decisions and priorities over the years. Regarding DEI, as many of you are aware, due to recent US government directives affecting American-sponsored schools such as ISD, we are now required to remove certain wording from our website and governing documents. As thus, we need to remove the word equity that you see in red from our values statements. While we will comply with the required language changes, our commitment to fairness, inclusion, student-centered learning, and well-being will not waver. We are sharing this change with you today to uphold our ongoing commitment to transparency and to open communication. Board committees. Here you see the committees that structure much of the board's work. Each committee focuses on a specific area of governance, allowing the board to work more efficiently and strategically. We have 4 standing committees that help manage the board's core responsibilities. Finance oversees budgeting and financial planning. BNG focuses on campus development and maintenance. GND ensures board effectiveness and trustee development, and policy leads the review and revision of school policies. In addition to these, we formed 2 ad hoc committees this year in response to key needs. The Strategic Planning Committee to create the new mission-driven strategic plan, and the Director Search Committee, which was tasked with identifying and recommending ISD's next permanent school leader. So what did these committees help the board achieve? The BNG, Buildings and Grounds, this year they oversaw several important initiatives. We continued planning for a new early elementary building on the campus annex and completed key upgrades across the existing campus, including improved safety features, energy efficiency projects, and student-centered enhancements like a dedicated DP lounge. And these efforts reflect the committee's commitment to responsible, forward-looking campus development. The GND this year, Governance and Development, led several key initiatives to strengthen board effectiveness and visibility. As mentioned before, we amended the bylaws to introduce a co-chair model. We increased trustee presence and engagement at community events like the Teranga Cup and the meet and greets. We successfully appointed and onboarded new trustees throughout the year, and we conducted a full review and revision of our core governance, ensuring they reflect best practices and the expectations we hold ourselves to. And these efforts have helped reinforce transparency, accountability, and continuity within the board. The Policy Committee made significant progress in strengthening ISD's governance framework, unlike any other year before. We contracted with an expert consultant to lead a comprehensive review of our existing board policy manual, a 77-page document, of which some were old and outdated. We developed an 18-month roadmap aiming to streamline it into an organized and easy-to-navigate document while keeping all substantive content in place. And we focused on clarifying the boundary between policy and operations, helping ensure that the board stays focused on the what and the school leadership handles the how. The Director Search Committee, ad hoc committee, So following the mid-year leadership transition, the board established this committee to lead the process of finding ISD's next permanent school director. And here's what we've done so far. We contracted with International School Services, ISS, a global leader in school leadership recruitment, to manage the search with us. We conducted listening sessions and SWOT analysis with parents, students, faculty, staff, and leadership to shape the director profile. And as a result of that profile, ISD vetted over 50 applicants and presented a diverse shortlist of 8 candidates. 50 applicants lining to come to ISD is a powerful reflection of ISD's reputation and the strength of our school community. The search committee is now actively interviewing these candidates and to identify the 2-3 finalists who will be invited to Dakar in early June for on-campus interviews and community engagement. A final decision and announcement will be made before the end of the school year. We're confident this process will result in strong, visionary leadership for ISD's future. Our treasurer, Julie, will be giving a presentation on the finances of the school. Therefore, I have not included the works of the finance committee in my presentation. Last but not least, we are proud to present the 2-year strategic plan as promised and on time. The plan is the result of months of listening, reflection, and alignment across our school community. It reflects who we are, what we value, and where we're going. It's intentionally short-term, designed to give focus and momentum during this leadership transition, but it also sets the stage for a longer-term vision ahead. A very special thank you goes to our interim director, Dr. Johnson, who led the process with thoughtfulness, transparency, and a deep respect for all voices in the community. So, thank you. And it's worth noting the themes that emerged through the strategic planning process mirror the SWOT analysis conducted separately by ISS during their focus groups for the director search. So that alignment gives us confidence that this plan is grounded in real, shared priorities across our entire school community. And Dr. Johnson will be going further into detail about the strategic plan in her presentation shortly. So, thank you.
Approval of the meeting minutes from last year's AGM is an important part of how ISD and the Board of Trustees maintain a record of our work, a snapshot of where we were at the moment of the meeting. We use this method with all the monthly board meetings. The approved meeting minutes are available for the association to review on the board page in the parent portal of the school's website. Having said all that, we will now move to approve last year's meeting minutes. Go ahead and move that. Is there a second? By that, I mean, is there another association member who supports moving to vote on approving the minutes? Julie seconds it. All right. A simple majority vote is all that is needed. So all those in favor of approving the meeting minutes from last year, please raise your hand. You get 2 votes. All those opposed? Excellent. Thank you very much. Motion passes. Thank you, everyone. Next, we'll move on to the interim director's presentation. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Nika Johnson to the podium.
Hello, everyone. Okay, so today I'm just going to talk a little bit about our strategic priorities and just mention the parent survey. So as we mentioned, this process was completely collaborative. We listened and we heard, and this is how we created our strategic priorities. I interviewed 80 plus faculty members. I had weekly meetings. I have weekly meetings with student council. We had a number of parent focus groups, and we also used the CIS accreditation report recommendations to come up with our strategic priorities. Additionally, after we identified the strategic priorities, I requested additional participation from our staff, faculty and staff. There were 4 prompts. What are our current strengths for each priority? How can we improve each priority? What are some initiatives that we can start to achieve the priority? And last but not least, which is really important with strategic planning, how do we measure success? I think that's a key element. So this was 92 faculty members 92 faculty members responded, and they were really engaged. What's next? On June 12th, the leadership team and I will meet to create an actual action plan with objectives for each priority, with success metrics. This will be shared with the community to continue being transparent and to also give you all the opportunity to hold us all accountable. So what do we mean when we say mission-driven strategic plan? Because I know you hear that a lot. Meaning our strategic priorities advance our school's mission. And this is our mission. Can anyone say this with their eyes closed? All right, as Eileen mentioned earlier, these are our strategic priorities, and I'm really excited about these priorities gives us a focus for the next 2 years. Enhance academic success, student well-being, and effective systems and processes. So what have we started to plan for the 25-26 school year? What are we doing to support our strategic priorities, even though we haven't met as a leadership team to come up with the key objectives and the metrics? There are some things that we have identified that we need to do. And I'm going to share that with you. Okay. Enhancing academic success. So we have already begun the process to plan our professional learning days. I'm really excited. In September, we will have the IB trainers come to IEC to provide professional learning for our teachers and our instructional assistants. 2-day PD. Now keep in mind, our teachers are pretty much all IB trained. That's why we have the different options. I wanted to share those. This will support our practices as an IB World School, which will support the academic success of our students. And another thing that the principals and I talked about today is that teacher goals will be aligned with these strategic objectives. We're also we started having conversations about alternative graduation paths if students are not going to go for the full DP diploma. We do this already, but we're becoming more intentional about increasing our data-driven instructional practices. The next strategic objective or priority, is student well-being. We have already put structures in place for 25-26. Many of you, all of you, should have received the announcement with the deans about the deans that we're hiring or bringing in. We are focused on behavior accountability as well as academic success in the secondary school. Well, K-12, but the deans are for secondary school. We are creating a social emotional learning curriculum, which will be a scheduled class. We're planning a scheduled class for students in high school. This SEL class will give students the language for self-awareness, emotional management, understanding healthy relationships. Currently, we support our students with their mental health. We have a mental health counselor on staff, and we have a number of counselors. The counselors and the mental health counselor are currently working on a counseling handbook that will be shared with parents next year. And something that I am really committed to continuing is the QPR training, and I'm hoping some of you in here attended. The Question, Persuade, Refer, Suicide Prevention Training. All of our faculty members were trained on this. We are putting space in the orientation schedule for our new hires to be trained in this as well. We will continue parent workshops, both in French and English. I'm hoping we'll have time to have a couple more workshops before the end of the school year. So our last strategic priority, effective systems and processes. We believe that effective systems and processes provide the foundation that enables our school to fully achieve our mission. So these are some of the initiatives that we have already identified that we will be working on during the next 2 years. And like Eileen was saying, we are working on a foundation for the next 2 years to get us to a place where we can be visionary, right? Looking towards the future. But I feel strongly that these 3 strategic priorities are what we need to lay the foundation for the next steps in ISD. So parent survey. So tomorrow, Thursday, May 22nd, we'll be sending out the annual parent survey. It should take about 7 to 10 minutes. Please fill this out because I value your feedback, I value your voice, and I want to hear from you. We have a short window, so it will end on May 31st. But you'll get the email, and we're going to send it in French too, right, Shelley? Yes, so it'll be sent out in English and French. Please fill it out. I really want to hear from you all. And that's it. Thank you. Julie?
Good evening, everyone. Hello? Yes. Okay, so as Eileen said earlier, I'm the treasurer this year, and we're gonna go into what we've done in the finance committee. Before diving into the numbers, I just wanted to remind everyone that ISD is a non-profit institution, okay? There are no private owners. Every dollar goes back into the school, into, of course, learning, into student services, campus improvement. And every decision that's taken is not for profit, but decisions that are prioritizing sustainability and impact. So always in service of our community and mission. Okay, let's go into the numbers now. So, for this school year, we are expecting to end this school year, so end of July 2025, with $17 million in revenue for operations. So, operational revenues are coming from tuition, mainly. We also have a little bit of something coming from the government, the US government, but it's not that much. So really, it's tuition that's giving us those $17 million. So when we get those $17 million, 85% are allocated to salaries and benefits. This is the norm in international schools because we need to attract and retain top teaching talent. So 85% goes to that, right? Then I wanted to show you the split. We have 8% for administration and 8% for education. So I just wanted to show you what education expenses look like. It's split in different categories, so secondary, IT, elementary, just so you have an idea. So this is mainly supplies and things like that. We have projected for the operational part and with the approximately $900,000 deficit. It appears from our last finance committee meeting that because we've had a lot of cost control, we've been very mindful with cost, with Nika and her team, we are probably going to end up with a surplus, which is good news. Now, regarding capital revenues. So for this year, so capital revenues come from the capital fee that you guys pay for your kid. So $1,250 for students who are coming back, $8,000 for new students starting from kindergarten and onwards. So from that we got about $2 million, and it's used for long-term strategic investments in the school's campus and the learning environment. So you see it's kind of split half-half between capital expenses and construction and loan expenses. So what does that mean? It means strategic project. The school did buy a land, so there's a campus master plan that should be coming up in the next years. Major equipment, we did a lot of investments into IT and campus development and construction. So for capital, we also expected this year to end with a small deficit of $600,000 approximately. So don't be worried when I say we expect deficit, just so you know. We're not here to make profit, right? So we budget, we plan the budget to be close to zero. So it's a planned deficit, right? We can support this deficit because we have 9.4 million cash on hands. So we're going to end up with this at the end of July. What do we do with this cash? Well, we split it. So it's $9 million split into 4 categories. So we need to plan for risk, right? So we've seen this year that there has been a drop in enrollment, and we did create this new reserve for enrollment of $1.3 million. Unfortunately, we're planning for more drop in enrollment for next year due to what's been going on with USAID and some UN entities. Emergency reserves of 1.3 million. So what does that mean? An emergency is, you never know, maybe you need to shut down the school. So, or like what happened during COVID. Last year we had political turmoil, so we had to plan for, in the case we had to close the school, but the kids were in the school, they have to, stay overnight. How do we manage that? So this is the emergency reserves. Capital reserves, so for the big master plan project that we were going to be dipping into that probably next year, hopefully. And the director's search, $110,000, sorry. So we're using this this year, obviously. You all know that. Very important message is ISD remain in strong financial health. Again, we have $9 million in reserve, which position us to deliver excellent learning experiences while being very mindful of our costs. Now, every year, the board votes on the budget for the next school year. So I'm going to present the budget that has been approved by the board. So, we have priorities in our budget, of course. I've listed them right here. Number 1, maintain the academic excellence across all programs. We budgeted keeping in mind how to retain and attract top quality faculty to teach your kids. Keep ISD as an equitable, mission-aligned employer. This budget is going to allow us to operate and maintain high quality facilities as well. Prepare for future capital investments and respond to enrollment patterns, as I just mentioned. And all this, and this is something that you might like, we're trying to keep tuition increase modest. Okay, parents? So, and just so you know, among Africa, we are the most reasonable school, I must say, in terms of cap of fees. Huh? Okay, the key assumptions for next year's budget. We expect to have 650 students. The tuition fee increase is 2.75%. We've not changed our capital development fee, so you're going to still be paying those figures on here. And there has been some adjustments regarding staff. So Dr. Johnson already announced this to faculty. There is a freeze on salaries and steps for next year. That has been communicated. There are 3 overseas hired faculty positions that have been removed. And as Dr. Johnson said earlier, 2 new deans for middle school and high school positions that were added, but it's dividends. So how are we supposed to end up next school year? Operating budget deficit of $1.9 million, capital budget deficit of approximately $700,000. Again, don't worry, we have $9 million in reserves, right? How are we planning to spend the capital budget? So the board approved solar panels and student garden project of $165,000. There are routine capital projects of $1.1 million, and the campus planning and the loan repayment of $1 million. So again, when we talk about deficit, it is a planned deficit. We are prioritizing quality education, responsible investment, and long-term sustainability, while minimizing tuition impact on families. Thank you. I guess it's time for a Q&A.
All right. Any questions? Oh, that's great. No questions? Is there? Yes.
Hi, I just have one question about the director search. Is there going to be an opportunity for faculty to give feedback?
Absolutely. This is why we're doing the director search. So when the finalists are going to be selected, like I said, right now the search committee is doing the interviews of the shortlisted candidates, and the finalists will be brought onto campus in early June. They will be meeting with faculty, leadership, staff, students, parents. The whole community will have a voice in ISD's next permanent director. Any other questions? All right. That changes. That's nice.
The Board of Trustees put forth to the Association a proposed amendment to our bylaws concerning how the board handles vacancy appointments and establishing a process for a special election of trustees when needed. A two-thirds majority of the votes cast is needed to adopt the amendment. This is everything that was provided in the ballot as the association received. And here are the results. The amendment is approved with 76% of the vote. So thank you very much. Now the fun part. Each year, the ISD Association has the opportunity to express its wishes and voice its choice or choices for who it wants to guide the school as a trustee. The board put greater effort this year into sharing information with the community about what it means to be a trustee. We also tried other ways to inform the association about who the candidates are. The Board of Trustees wishes to thank the Jaguar group of secondary students advised by Ms. Aisha for their work on recording and preparing interviews of available candidates for the community to see. And a special thanks as well to Alina and Abigail, two of our 11th grade students who stayed after their school day ended to produce those videos. This year there are 5 open trustee positions. Per Section 2A of the ISD bylaws, the board is comprised of 9 trustees, and the majority of those trustees shall hold citizenship of the United States of America. With only 1 returning trustee who holds a U.S. citizenship for the school next year, this year's election is required to elect 4 trustees who hold a U.S. citizenship. Without further ado, here are the winners of this year's trustee selection. As I call your name, please make your way onto the stage to join our current trustees. Dan Van Leuven. Julia Karst. Gary Sims. Carrie made it. Carrie is unable to join us this evening, but she will be at our board meeting next week. And Christopher York.
As we come to close our annual general meeting, right on time, I believe, I would like to first congratulate and say a warm welcome to the new trustees. And thank everyone for being here tonight, and also those who are at home. I'm sure that they're in the hundreds, but thank you for your continued community. It has been a year like no other, one that has tested us, transformed us, and ultimately pushed us to build something better. Our school's motto, challenge, change, create, has never felt more appropriate. This year we were truly challenged. We faced moments of uncertainty, discontent, and hard decisions, whether it was leadership transition, community concerns, or the pressure of maintaining excellence amid change. These weren't easy moments. We had to make tough decisions and face difficult conversations, but they were necessary. But through those challenges came change, real necessary change. We listened more closely, and we gave back the community its voice. And now we begin to create, to rebuild trust, to reimagine what leadership looks like, to rebrand academic excellence, and to lay the groundwork for an even stronger, more unified school. We're not just moving past a difficult year, we're building on it. That is the work of transformation. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge the incredible work of our volunteer trustees. This year we had multiple resignations early in the year, and we served one trustee short. And two of our trustees faced the added demands of what happened to USAID. And yet, every single trustee, and this includes the U.S. Ambassador's representative, remained present, engaged, and committed to the work. I'm grateful to each and every one of you for your commitment and judgment and heart. To our outgoing trustees and board members, if I may ask, I was going to say stand up, but you're all on here, so maybe just raise your hand. Trustee Jules Bashi, Trustee Yebe Diallo, Trustee Mark Goldenbaum, Trustee John Rigney, U.S. Ambassadors Representative Sophia O'Donnell, Our secondary school principal, Estelle Hughes, I think she's not here. And also our faculty representative, Rebecca Armstrong. I don't know if she's here. She's here? Okay. Thank you for your service, all of you. It has been an honor and a privilege to serve alongside you, and I have no doubt that the incoming board will take the baton and carry forward the important work that you've all helped shape with strength, integrity, and purpose. To our leadership team, faculty, and staff, thank you for your resilience. And to our parents and wider community, thank you for holding us to the standards our students deserve. Together, we've lived the very words we ask our learners to embody. Challenge what is, change what must be, and create what can be. And finally, on a more personal note, if I may, after 16 years of being the ISD community, and 13 years of serving as a trustee, and as your chair this year, this marks my last AGM. It has been one of the greatest privileges of my life to serve a school that I believe in so deeply, that has been the heart of my life in Dakar and those of my 2 children. So I leave with immense pride in what we've built together, and with unwavering hope for all that's still to come. Thank you again, and good night.
D'autres vont ensuite, parce que ça reste en ligne, donc vous mettez un mot, si demain sera au moins.